ladies and gents, this is Linda Faith Chick 777 and I am back for part 2 with the grand finale of my projects that I had made for Miranda, MsLiberty25 in our swap, our one-to-one swap. So I'm going to get my sign out of the way and let's get started. I hope you got a restroom break. I hope you got another cup of coffee or soda pop and a snack, and get ready to watch my video. Okay, I'm going to get this out of the way. I know you want to say rumble, right? But I didn't do it. Well, now I just did. Okay, so first off, let me explain. Well, I'll just move this camera up so you can see my little pretties from my other video that I made her, and let me talk for just a second. Now, I had found this cute little cabinet in an antique store. And it was like, I don't remember what color. Oh, it was a brown. It was a kind of a brown color. But what I wanted to do with it is just, I wanted to have like a lighter brown undertone and then crackle it with kind of a black on top. Well, so what I did is, of course, I painted it a different color of brown and then I crackled it. And then I didn't get to it for about 2 weeks because I had gone on to do the other album in a box that I told you about earlier in my first video for a friend of mine for her daughter. And so then I went back to paint the top coat over the crackle and it wouldn't crackle. And when I would paint it, it would just kind of like rub kind of right back off when I painted it. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird. Well, come to find out that I had completely forgotten about, because when I went to learn to crackle, I read up on it and stuff like that quite a while back. When you crackle, you have to do it in a certain time frame or it won't crackle. And I cannot remember, I think it's within like 4 or 5 days, or for some reason it won't crackle. It just won't work. And so I thought, okay, well, I can repaint it and re-crackle it and, you know, try that effect again. I thought, no, I'll just take black and I'll just paint over it. It might take a few coats. I know it's kind of rubbing off, but it might work. Well, it didn't work. Okay, like now what can I do? So I almost started to scrap this project. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Maybe I just shouldn't do this one. Maybe I'll just think of something else. And then my next thought was, no way, I am going to make this work. So I decided, okay, I'll just texture it. I texture everything, right? You know, all my projects I've been doing lately, I've been using the texture, the spackle paint, you know, the spackle texture stuff from Walmart or your local hardware store, and I'll texture it and then I'll paint it black. So that's what I did. But now it kind of looks like it went through a fire. With the texture paint and the black paint on it, it actually looks like it got charred up and burnt in a fire. But then now that I've got the paper and all that stuff on over it, it looks kind of pretty but burnt. Okay? So here's what I figure. The Bible talks about there's beauty found in ashes, right? So this is what I've come up with. My cute little burnt up, beautiful armoire. There's beauty found in ashes. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my little armoire, and this thing stands, quickly I'm going to measure it. It stands just about a little over a foot tall, and it is about 8 inches wide. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my little armoire, and I've completely, oopsie, my camera, I've completely changed it up, changed the doors, everything on it. Added chicken wire. Miranda's going to be so proud of me. She got us all using chicken wire. Okay, so I'm going to bring it in. Here is my cabinet. I know it looks burnt up, right? Okay, so I'm going to bring, I think my camera is down as far as it can go. So I'm going to kind of go this way. See what the texture did? It looks like it got burnt in a fire. I kid you not. But I kind of like the effect. So like I said, I textured it with the spackle stuff. And then I painted over it with just the black, again, the black metallic paint. Okay. And then along all the outside edges, I'm going to kind of turn it. I did, you know, the tattered time paper and the timeless type paper. I, you know, distressed all the edges. I inked them. I did all my sewing as I usually do. You can really see it on the top, how I did my sewing and everything. See here? And then on the back, again, all my sewing and everything that I've done on it. Turn it around to the other side. See a bunch of lace coming on down there. I even put paper on the very bottom. I like to kind of finish things off. See, there's paper on the bottom. Okay, so there is my little Beauty in Ashes project. That's what I'm going to call it. Okay, so I'm going to kind of try to come in a little bit closer to show it to you. We're going to start from the top and go down. So what I've done, is, and maybe I'll just bring it up to the camera. It'll be easier to show, of course. And there's glue strings. We always see our glue strings when we're filming. Okay, so what I've done, this is the top ensemble. This is where all my little I Am Roses and everything comes into for Miranda, because like I said, she's our little I Am Roses gal. So I just did a big spray of I Am Roses and Sock Crafters flowers in here. And then I did a big bauble here and another bauble here. And then these are the black wings I was talking about that I had made clay charms from, clay wings from on the very first frame project I did. And I got them at Walmart, and they actually have the little, you know, diamonds and stuff already in them, all this little bling and stuff. So those are the black metal wings, okay? And then up in there you can see a little lace. So what I'll do is I'll show that real quick, is I gathered lace up and around underneath all the flowers, and then glued and, you know, gathered it as I went down the side, just gluing and gathering it down the side of the project all the way down kind of to the bottom edge where it just leaves, where it's left hanging. I wanted just to give it a little bit of a kind of that little shabby chic twist to it. My little flair to it, right? Okay, now the doors. I'm going to bring my camera down this way so you can see the doors. Okay, what I did, both doors, they had middle panels in them. On this panel, I took the panel off and I added chicken wire, as you can see here. And then how I did the chicken wire on the inside, as I'll show you, is I textured it all. Then I took and hot glued the chicken wire on the back side of it, and then I textured over the edges of the chicken wire to hide, you know, the raw edges, and so that it doesn't stick up. And this side, you can actually see the panel. And what I did, I'll bring it in a little bit, is I took part of it, see right through here where I took part of it, and I broke like half of that, and I left half of the door panel on the inside, and then I put chicken wire on the lower half of it. So that's what I did with that. I'm going to bring it down so you can see. Okay? And on the front of that, I put it, when I open the door, you'll be able to see, there is a little hole. It is in the center of the door. And what I did is put a chain through the hole. And then on the front of that chain obviously holds a Tim Holtz clock and then a Tim Holtz arrow. And then I added like a little love charm here. And the light's going to probably wash it out a little bit, bring it in a little closer so you can see. So there is a little love charm there. There it is. A little sheer ribbon. And hanging from it is some chain. It's got a little teeny tiny heart charm on it. A big metal number 2 that I got at Walmart, you know, the big metal house numbers. And from that, I have hung this little rose charm, and then I made these 2 little beaded charms here that I hung from the bottom of that metal 2. And it just hangs freely, as you can see. And then down the bottom of the cabinet, both sides, is these little Tim Holtz metal corners. Okay? All right, so bring it back up this way. Bring it out. Okay, now as you open the doors, inside is like a little armoire. Now first off, I'll show you right here where you can see how I did my chicken wire. I'll bring my camera in. See how I hit it and I just textured right over it so it could hide all the ends of my chicken wire. And on this side, you can see where my hole goes through, and I used a little bracelet connector because I was originally going to put a working clock in there, but for the life of me could not find hands small enough in length, you know, that would fit on the inside of that door and go around. So I decided, well, I'll just put a fake one and I'll use the hole to hang, you know, chain through it, you know, to be able to hang this ensemble here. So that's how I made that little creative decision. Okay, so then in the, I'll just kind of give you a look-see. There's a little Miranda again and a little honey. The top, it's just like an armoire. It's kind of like Configurations box, but in an armoire. Okay, I've covered the whole inside with paper, of course. Top, bottom, sides, back, everything is covered. What I'll do is I'll bring this up and show you here the inside first. And again, I use that Timeless Tight paper. You can see it in the back a little bit. That's like one of my favorite ones, the music notes with the roses on it. Okay, now trying to do it without all the glare. All right, so inside the top shelf, let me see if I can just go in, kind of show you everything I did. In that very back corner back there is I Am Roses and Sock Crafters roses up here. And then I put one of those little wooden fences by Kaiser Craft back here. And on the front of that, I have put little tiny roses and hung a little metal heart charm because I wanted to use a little picket fence. You know, we all have those daydreams of love and the, you know, life with our, you know, cute house and its window shutters and the little picket fence, right? Although I know that's kind of like a gate, like one of those real pretty iron gates, but you know what I mean? So I wanted it to represent a picket fence, white picket fence. And then in front of that, it's got a little metal heart. You can see there. I actually took that off a picture. It had this little wooden magnet and it had this wire heart on the top of it, and I pulled it out off of the magnet and so I used it. And again, another I Am Roses flower. Then over here, these two things, these are little bottles I got in garage sales. So this one actually has, I'll move this up, has some little roses inside of it. You can see them right, if I move my big hand out of the way, right there. There's some little I Am Roses in the inside there, and they will move. If I move this cabinet, those move. See how those move? Okay, and then I hung a little white locket here. We all know that brand, but now, because I'm trying to think of it, the name's escaping me. On the front of that, at a garage sale in a free box, there were these game pieces, and they were really old and yellow, just like you see here. And they were little game cards, and they all had numbers on them, and it was to like this bunny rabbit hop game of years ago. And they all said things on them, you know, move forward to, back to, whatever. You drew the cards and it tell you how you can move in the game. So I took one of the game cards here. Like I said, it was this color, and all I did is distress the edge and added like a little white rubbing buff along the edge. But the little game piece says, 2 hops you may have, but 2 only mind. I'm sure you would like more because you are kind. So I threw in that little game piece, and I just kind of glued it to the front of the bottle, and then just brought it, you know, twisted it and bent it forward and let it lay over here like this. And then inside on that, of course, is some more little roses down in that corner there. In this little bottle, I've just got some little dried roses and some little pearls and stuff. And then from that, I have hung like a little metal heart. That is laying on a vintage spool that I've wrapped crochet lace around. Tuck some more flowers down and around in the corner in here. This is actually this little tube here. You can find them at Dollar Tree in the wedding section, and they're like by an 8-pack or something like that. They're bubbles that you would blow at, you know, a wedding reception when the bride and groom leave, you blow bubbles. So I took the bubbles out, and now I've got these really cute long tube jars, and I put like glued a little lid on it. And then here's a little key I let hang, little Tim Holtz key. And inside, I took some of that Timeless Type paper and I rolled it up like in a scroll. And you can see how I've rolled it up. So, and put some ribbon around it or string around it like it was a little scroll. And then I've scrunched up some lace. And then this is a metal word, believe. It was actually on a picture easel that you get at Dollar Tree. And I took this off of it. I like twisted and bent until it broke off. This believe, it was like on the bottom part of the easel, and then I bent it. As you can see here, I bent it so that it would you know, look bent. Okay, now Miranda's picture is on like a scroll. What I've done is took 2 tiny little wooden dowels, and you can probably barely see them, but see the paper up there? I wrapped them around the wooden dowels. And if I turn to the bottom on the box, you can kind of see it into the letters right in there. And I rolled it at the bottom like a scroll forward, and I rolled it at the top backwards. So if you took it out, it would look like a scroll that had unraveled and unrolled. And then her picture I printed through my computer. It is, you can hear that, it is on canvas. And then I took it and distressed the edges and then just added like a little white rub and buff along the edges of that. So I glued that canvas to like the little mini scroll that I had made. Okay, now the bottom. Let me bring this down a little. The bottom, as you can see, I've got like a little, let me move this over. It's going to be easier if I just move there than trying to move the camera. I've got a little vintage doily down here in the corner. Some little eyeglasses that I found at a garage sale, little craft eyeglasses. I found like 4 or something in a bag, really cute. This is a Bible that I've placed inside. Now I want everybody to know, because as you can see, the Bible is here. The Bible, the cover on it was about a 1/2 inch all the way around beyond the Bible itself. And so it allowed me to just kind of wedge the Bible inside on the shelf. Now, all this stuff that you see over here is in no way glued onto this Bible. I have not defaced this Bible in any way. It is very important to me that I tell you that, because the Bible is important to me. And so I just wanted to let you know that. What I did is I took a piece of transparency and I made it big enough that it would cover about 3/4 of this page over here, and big enough that I could glue it onto the bottom and onto the side wall of this lower shelf. Okay, and then all the stuff that's glued in is glued to the transparency. Nothing is harming this Bible. If Miranda wanted to, she could pull these glasses out and she could literally just pull this Bible out and read it. So this Bible, like I said, is not defaced in any way, and all this stuff is glued to plastic, and the plastic is simply laying on the front of the Bible. Okay, now the Bible is opened up again to her favorite scripture, which is 1 Corinthians 13:13, and the scripture is right down here, so she would be able to view it. So it's open to that particular scripture. Okay, and then all I did in this corner is I just added a bunch of, I Am Rose's flowers, Saw Crafter's flowers. There is a this little card back here is some journal cards. I can never remember the name of those darn journal cards, but it says Beloved on it, and I thought that was just really pretty. It kind of went with the Bible theme. And then Beloved, like, man and woman, you're my beloved type thing. And then God saying to his children, Beloved. And then there is a great big right here. I know my hand looks so big when I point in there, sorry. In the back, you can barely see it, but that is one of those big metal clocks that you get from Michael's. And then there is some baubles and gems in there. That little heart keyhole is, a Tim Holtz keyhole. And then it's laying amidst a lot of flowers in there. Some I Am Rose's roses here with a little lace bow on it. This really large spring I got at a garage sale, and it is laying on a vintage spool. And I've wrapped around it some vintage doily right here. And I safety pinned the doily on. I was going to glue it on, but then I grabbed a safety pin to kind of hold it on there for a minute to see if I liked that doily sitting on there. And then I was like, I kind of like the safety pin. So I left that little safety pin on there. And more I Am Rose's flowers and everything all just tucked in and around it. Some Tim Holtz film strip ribbon. Saw Crafter's flowers, more flowers underneath the bottle here. And then this bottle is just a little bottle I actually got from our antique mall. And inside of it, as with that bottle that was up here, is just some dried roses. I found a big container of them at a garage sale for like $1, just really pretty. I'll bring it in. You can see them, little dried roses. So I stuffed those inside the bottle. And then I wrapped some little twine around it and hung a little key. Okay, so, and then on the shelf up here, I added a little bit of vintage lace, and then this little bling lace across the front of that. Okay, all right, so I'm going to close this back up a little bit, and then you can kind of get a good look at it again. And what I like about it is when it is, I think that if it was me, I would display it like open, and then you can kind of see the doors on it and everything as it's all displayed open, and you see the chicken wire and Miranda's picture and everything. So, but she can display it how she wants it. But anyway, ladies and gents, there is my Beauty Found in the Ashes project. One that I was going to discard and decided that nope, I was going to make it work. So that's what I came up with. That's the grand finale. Please tell me you like it. Comment below and let me know what you think. Like I said, it's very grungy. Everything I made for Miranda, very, very grungy. But I hope you enjoyed watching it. I really, really, really hope Miranda loves this stuff. I'm so excited. I had went to Miranda and I had messaged her and I said, hey, do you want to swap with me? And she immediately messaged back and said, yes. And I was like, woohoo, she's going to swap with me. And about 2 seconds later, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to swap with me. What am I going to do now? It freaked me out all of a sudden because I was all excited 1 second. And the next second I was like, all of a sudden I was like, oh no, what have I done? So I hope that she really likes what I came up with, because I was a little intimidated because I really wanted it to be grungy and colors that Miranda liked and something that she would love to stare at. And I know cameras don't do anything justice, but I really just hope she loves it. And you guys let me know what you think about everything I've made. And thanks for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye!